Pen, I don't remember the exact date that it started. It was in the early 1990s, I think. And Joe O'Sullivan was the driving force. I mean, Joe's dead now, but he was the kind of character you didn't say no to. So when he got an idea, and he got plenty of ideas, he actually asked me about Pen. He just was forming it. And it got going in quite a strong style, actually. There was a lot of enthusiasm because it was new amongst writers in the city. And there were, as there aren't now, quite a number of academics became members. And it was probably, when it got going, initially the most active Pen Centre in Australia, even though it was the newest one. And it came up with ideas that we still have now in the new Pen Centre. We tried to concentrate on our region, so we particularly concentrate on the Indian Ocean region. So that idea is consistent. We feel that, firstly, that Pen, because of its origins, internationally is very much focused on Europe and North America, and tends to be, from our point of view, a bit biased that way. And the other big reason is, well, two big reasons. One is that everyone says, okay, this is the Asia century, so this is the period in which we expect Asia to take off economically with its vast populations. And of course in China that's really started to happen, and it is happening gradually, very gradually in India, and very gradually in Indonesia, but it will. And Japan, of course, is a strong economy and world player. So we feel that attention needs to be given to particularly the Asian region. We're oriented towards the Indian Ocean and Asia. Sydney and Melbourne much more oriented towards the Pacific, and we tend not to do much about the Pacific. But we're very focused on Myanmar, Burma, because it's a travesty what's happened there, and we happen to have a committee member who was born there and is very linked into the community. The other reason, so this is the third reason really, is that within that region there is no tradition of democracy. So there is a view of government which is much more top-down, the sense that rights are given from the top rather than being arising from the bottom and being given, which is the philosophy of liberal democracies. So that first Pen Centre, we held a regional Pen conference, and particularly the Japanese patronised it and some Indonesians came. So it wasn't large, but it was actually quite important. It gave rise to two things. It gave rise to Japan later putting on a much bigger regional conference. And in those days, Japan had lots of money, so they actually paid for a number of people to attend. And one person went from Sydney Pen, who was Nick Joes, one person from Melbourne Pen and Judith Buckridge, and me from Perth Pen. And it was a very worthwhile meeting. It gave a stronger sense of regional identity amongst the Pen centres. So again, it's this kind of shifting the balance a bit within Pen itself and highlighting our region and what's going on there. It also, for that first Pen Centre, was a kind of trial run. We then ran a World Congress in Fremantle in 1995 or thereabouts, maybe later. And that was only the second time Pen had held a World Congress in the Southern Hemisphere. There was one in South America many, many years before. So you get to bring one featured writer, and we brought someone from Indonesia. So again, this was quite a striking event. It was eventful in itself. It was held at the New Esplanade Hotel in Fremantle. One delegate got a death threat while we were there, so we had to handle that. Anyway, quite a few things came out of it, and it was a really big and difficult thing to do. We lost quite a lot of money on it, so that was a difficulty, but it still was a very good thing to do.